computer, and then I'm gonna share my screen. This screen. All right. Okay. Someone asked a new question here. Sorry, I didn't pay attention or not take any notice. So someone asked like he's like he doesn't understand to which component should hold which function and states, for example. So those kind of questions that that should be like tech practice, and there's no best solution for that though. So it depends on how you structure your app. There's no fixed answer, right? And I think you guys should go to this sheet and ask a lot of questions here. Okay, so all your friends can see it and answer it for you, or they can understand, get the kind of the idea of the question, and they also get the idea of the answer for them. And okay, let me close on these. All right, so let's go to the lecture. Hello, Charles, and welcome back to class, guys. I know that last week is kind of like stressful and kind of lucky at the same time, right? I heard that a lot of people did well during the interview, and yeah. Okay, and I heard a lot of feedback from alumni that saying some of you are very good, especially Khoi. Wing says a lot of good thing about you. And okay, so let's go to NodeJS. Welcome to module number 2, or maybe I don't know the number, but it's a backend module. And originally we want to have a the first day of backend module about the algorithm, but you spend a lot of time on that already, so we will skip that part and jump straight into 7.2, which is Node.js, right? As you can see here, this is the logo of Node.js. Every time you see this kind of shape here, you know exactly that's gonna be Node.js inside. Okay, and these are the 3 main things you need to understand today after you leave the class, or before you go to bed, right? So we're gonna understand what's the difference between front end and back end. We need to understand their purpose and their jobs, right? And then after that, during the class, we will study the basic of Node.js syntax, right? And after that, not really after that, after this lecture, you will have a rough idea of what you can do with Node.js along. Okay, Node.js is not about just web server. It's about many things else. Okay, so here's a rough idea of the difference between the front end and the back end. And you can see here, it's just a picture, right? We will dive deep into it later. Okay, well, something wrong here. And here's a very funny picture about front end and back end. Usually you will see funny picture, like meme on the internet. It's like a very beautiful front end, but like a messy back end. But this picture is the other way, the opposite, right? On the front end, you see a disaster, you see fixes and patches everywhere. But on the other hand, on the back end side, under the water here, it's very beautiful. Like it's very organized and stuff. And I actually like this picture more. So, okay, here's a theory. What is front end? What's back end? Back end is just theory, and then we will dive into the real examples. Right? Front end is we focus on how things look. For example, for your website, you will focus on how your images are rendered. For example, on the navbar, or in the middle on a container, or inside the footer, and how big they are, like the size of them. Also, the content, you want to focus on the layout, the content. You want to see show how long they are, how big they are, the text, how big the text is, like, and okay. And also the structure, what means it means like if you click into this link, it will like the direct you to another route. For example, those kind of structure behavior or the UI are called backend front end. And to do that, you need to know exactly 3 languages. There are only 3, no more. Maybe more, but there are variants of these 3 languages. The first one is HTML and CSS. HTML, you already learned it. CSS, you already learned it. JavaScript as well. So you may say there's a couple of other frameworks like React, Vue.js, Angular. They are on JavaScript, right? But they are just framework to help you build faster. And also CSS here, the very basic. You also have a SCSS or SACSS or something. Those are just the variants of CSS. Okay, backend side, we focus on how things work. Basically, everything that's going underlying our website, that's kind of like belong to the backend side. And we focus on the application logic and the data we have. And to do that, we are going to use a couple of languages. It depends on which language you want or which language your computer want to use. For example, we can use JavaScript in our NodeJS application. We can also use Ruby and Python, PHP, Java, Golang, or something else. And also to do backend, we also need to understand the basic, not really the basic, we need to understand the database language. For example, there are 2 kinds of database right now, SQL and NoSQL. SQL is like structured query language, and NoSQL means not only structured query language. This is just a rough idea, and let's see how it works actually in the real apps. Okay. Okay, there's something missing, but don't worry. Let's go to tiki.pn. Let's take an example of this. As you can see, everything here. Can anyone tell me which part is a front end and which part is a back end side? What about this? Can anyone? Juris? Hey.
Backend?
This one?
Well,
this banner here. That's going in the middle of the page.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just saying that because you wouldn't design a banner and you wouldn't put it in anywhere. So I assume you get it from somewhere and you just indicate where it should be displayed. That's why I thought it's backend.
Yes, it's kind of half, right? The content here, on the content here, for example, wiki or something, or the branches, they are maybe from the backend side, or they call another API, but the layout, the UI here, as you can see, the shape here and the position, they are on front end, right? They float, okay. And as you can see, the menu here, the header here, right, is also front end. I'm talking about the UI, the layout, the size, the positions, they're on front end, and the behavior here. If you hover your menu here, right, it changes. They are on front end. So where is the back end? The information here, the on the item here is kind of like the back end. The back end will like tell the front end, okay, here when you click on this menu, here's the list I want you to show to our user. Okay, and these items can change based on the database. So front end, just the purpose of front end, just render the list, that's it. And the content of that list will change like based on the developer wants, how they want to show it. Okay. Another thing is, if you look at this, here's my account, right? And everything inside here, Tiki deals, maybe Tiki deals fixed. Let's not talk about it. This is just for you. It's in Vietnamese, but in English it means just for you. And these items, wow, beginning. Okay, and these items are actually based on how you normally search on Tiki, or you search on Google, and Tiki will collect those kind of information and then do some analysis, and then we'll render these information for like different people, different person. So each person will have a list of item for their own, right? They are not the same. For example, if you go to Tiki and this in this section, you will see different items. Okay, sorry. What else? And these are just front end. It's very like it's fixed. Especially if you go to tiki.vn, you will see the same thing as me. So this item, this section is more about front end, how you structure things, and that's it. Okay, everything is front end. Not really everything is front end. Yes, everything is exactly front end, but the content is back end. The layout is front end and content is back end. So want to do, and another example for me is like that's my final project long time ago. Let me see. I'm gonna run it. Sorry. Oh shit. CD. All right. What the hell?
Claus getting that up. What he's trying to show you is you guys in 3 or 4 weeks are going to do, I forget how many weeks, but in a few weeks, you will all be doing your own final projects. And for those projects, you'll have to write both the front end and back end. And Kwa can show you his front end and his back end from like almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Or straight later.
Later, after this class, this lecture. All right. So you kindly have a rough idea of how what is front end and what is back end, right? And their main purpose and their jobs. Any questions? Like for example, let's take another example. You can go to google.com and then you can Google JavaScript. Okay. As you can see here, everything here. This one's front end, right? This part is on front end, and the layout here is on front end. But the content here, the data here, it's all about the backend side that return to the front end to show you the list of items here. But that's why if you put another, for example, JavaScript, what is JavaScript? The content change, but the layout is the same, right? So this information comes from the backend side, right? It's very clear if you go with Google, so clear. And the user here change depend on who you are and which account you are using. Okay, let's know. Okay, before we dive into Node.js, we need to understand JavaScript first, right? It's a basic, and why we choose JavaScript, but nothing else, not other languages. All right, there's a couple of reasons. The first one, so you can master the language JavaScript, right? To build a web application, the most important language is JavaScript, because every front-end application need to use JavaScript. That's good. And if you actually learn, I think we used to teach Ruby and Python before, but people complain because they have to learn 2 different languages, 2 different syntax in just 3 months. Okay, they complain a lot. And we think that you should spend more time learning the backend concept instead of learning another language, right? And another reason is JavaScript is really fast because of its asynchronous non-blocking nature, and actually PayPal moved from Java to JavaScript, and it's increased like 100% the speed. Also, the last reason, the demand for Node.js is very high in Vietnam, actually, and JavaScript it's in the world. JavaScript everywhere, right? Cool. That's why we learn JavaScript. These are the 2 most important things here. You can master a language, and you should spend more time to practice the concept, not the language, right? And here's are the 2 alternatives or variants of JavaScript. The first one is a flow here. Flow is just a tool that allows you to check the type on the go. And TypeScript is actually a compiler. It's very hot right now. It's a trend right now. It has a compiler that will give you the ability to define the type of the object or variable or the constant, and you actually cannot change the type on the go like JavaScript. For example, in JavaScript, you can define a variable as a string, right? And then later on, you can change the type to a number or an object. But in TypeScript, you cannot do that. So it's very strict. And TypeScript, it can actually be used in different frameworks as well. You will see a lot of documentation on React, Vue, Angular, and NodeJS, which is written in TypeScript. But don't fret out. They are actually JavaScript. Alright, so what is NodeJS now? NodeJS is a JavaScript runtime. It's a runtime tool that to allow you to run JavaScript on different machines. Right. So that is. It's very simple. Initially, JavaScript is created just to run on browsers. Originally, it was created to just run on the browser itself. And then in 2009, some guy, I don't know the name, I forgot the name, but he's created NodeJS that will allow you to run JavaScript on server. Not on the browser, but on the server, right? And that's why we have two kinds of JavaScript. It's not really two kinds, but there's a little bit between different between the in-browser JavaScript and the server JavaScript. They use the same language, but there's a little bit different. Something you can use on the browser and something you can only use on the server. Okay, in browser JavaScript is like every thing that relates to a web page manipulation and interaction with the user and the web server. The web server here is our NodeJS or the web server. Okay, and in browser JavaScript has a lot of restriction to protect the user, right? For example, if you want to get the location of a user, your browser will have to ask permission, have to ask the user for that kind of permission, right? And okay, let's move on and then we'll explain one more thing about in browser. And server JavaScript, you can use that to read and write the attribute, the files on your hard drive, on your hard disk, copy them and execute any programs. Actually not really any program, but kind of a lot of programs, and but it has no direct access to your OS system. Okay, let's think back. In browser JavaScript, it is allowed to save and write files on your computer. Do you think it's good about? Can? Yeah, do you think it's good or bad if in the in-browser JavaScript can read and write files on your computer? Why is not good? Yeah, it's not safe. It's gonna be a nightmare. Like for example, if you visit my website or go to school website and go to school website will like delete everything on your computer, that's gonna be a disaster, right? You don't want that. But the server JavaScript, the server side JavaScript can do that, but it doesn't like read and write file on your computer. It read and write file on the server. All right, it's different. And also it can make network requests just like the in-browser JavaScript. But this time it's run on the server side, and you will less likely to see any cost problem here. Cost problem is it's a term that you will see it in the future, like cross-origin resource sharing. Let's not worry too much about it right now. Don't get like overflow by this, but it's kind of like something that prevents you to call API on your browser. It's only happen on your browser, and sometimes happen on the server, but you can enable, you can bypass it on the browser, the server side, right? That's why we sometimes we need to call API on our server. Okay, so every time you install Node.js, you also have a something called npm, which you already used it long time before, right? Some of you know that npm is not package manager, but do you know exactly what it is, what it does? It actually it help you to manage your Node package, Node module, exactly from the name, but it also have you run some script and maintain the script and maintain the versions. It can it has a lot of thing functionalities. For example, you can do npm init something, right? It means it will go and get all the packages from somewhere, and then it will create that project for you. You can also use npm star to start a server. For React, for example, you already use it, and we're gonna use it here in Node.js as well. And the website for npm is npmjs.com. It's very famous. You should know this website, and you're gonna use it a lot in the future, right? So basically, 99% of the time, if you want to find a package, you go here and type the name, search, and click on the exact match, for example, like this, and you see the package, the page for that package. And you can follow the instructions on how to install and how to use it. And also, okay, so we know that npm is gonna manage our packages, and they are gonna call this. They also call modules. For modules, we will have 3 kinds of modules. We have the core modules, we have the community modules, and we have our all customized modules. What are they? The first thing, core modules is very simple. It's very straightforward. You already use it many times. For example, React module, right? You also use it. For example, data object. They are all core modules. It's already built in your Node.js. You just call it and use it right away. You don't have to. Sometimes you don't even have to import it. But for community modules, they are all the package here on the npm website, and you can see these are basically community modules. So in order to use them, you have to install them first. Go to the website, click on something. For example, let's go with moment. Okay, you go to the website, you npm install it, and then you can consume it in your code. Our modules here, this is we can also define the module ourselves. So these are kind of like a private modules. We can also obviously we can push these code to npmjs.com, and it's going to be public, and other people can use it, right? So these are private modules. All right, and I think I need to slow down a little bit. Do you have any question up until now? Bao, you're so quiet. Hello, Bao, are you here? Yes. Do you have any question? Like, maybe not. Any question, Bao? I think you're typing. No, I don't think so. All right, I'm gonna ask you then. So here's a list of things that Node.js can do. It's not just about a web server. It can do a lot of things, other things. For example, you can build these tools, npm, our JS, VM, or other stuff using Node.js. Yes, that's why npm always come with Node.js, right? Okay, and you can build development tooling. For example, the Webpack. Actually, when you do React, you also see sometimes you will see error about Webpack, right? So they are all Node.js products, right? You also have some tools in your VS Code. For example, ESLint here. ESLint here is gonna like beautify, make your code beautiful. right? Organize your code, format your code automatically. So these kind of tools are also built with Node.js. It's not just about web server, right? Obviously, you can create your web application with Node.js. That's the purpose we are learning Node.js. Also, we can build command line tools like rimwrap here. For example, rimwrap is very famous tool. It's actually a tool that will allow you to delete files or folders in different environment, different platforms. For example, if you want to delete something in on Windows, you have to do remove something. I don't know, I don't remember the syntax, but you have to do remove something, right? On a Mac OS environment, you have to do rm -rf and the name of the folder. It's the same on Ubuntu and Linux, but as a developer, when you develop an app, and how do you know which environment or which platform the user is running your application on, right? It takes a lot of time to a lot of code. Like if user is using Windows, you use this syntax, this command line. If user is using macOS, you use this command line. So rimwrap is just a tool that will run on multiple platforms with same syntax. That's why if you click on this, you can see the number of downloads every week here. It's almost like 31 million per week, download per week. It's a lot. All right, so using Node.js, you can do something like that too. And also you can build desktop applications. Wow. Desktop application. Yes, desktop application. It's weird, but there's something called Electron, which is which use a lot of functionality of Node.js. It's basically built on top of Node.js though. So what's Electron? Electron is a tool that can build Slack, for example. If you use Slack on a desktop, it's actually built using Electron. Also Discord, I think, yeah. And GitHub, your GitHub, your desktop GitHub app is also built on Electron. And also the basic one, the Atom editor. This editor, this code editor, is also built on Electron as well. It's very similar to VS Code, right? See, as you can see here, it's totally built on Electron. It's kind of like Node.js, right? So you can do a lot of things with just Node.js. It's not about web application. And let's take a look at a couple of projects in this module that we're gonna build. For example, the first one is I think it's gonna be where the okay, this one, and another one, meme and shortener and chat app. Okay, these are a couple of like projects we are gonna build. Okay, the weather app is gonna fetch our weather, but this time it's gonna run on the server side, right? And the memes web app here is I like this one. We are gonna build it this week, right? So be excited. You can actually upload the images and you can add the text in on top of your image. And you see a lot of memes here, and you can there's midnight over here. Right, so we're gonna build these fun project, right? I think I like this one, and this a URL shortener. Actually, you can go and for example, I'm gonna copy this, and where am I? Okay, paste here, shorten it. So if I go to the web, yeah, it will direct us to the original link. I think this one is also a good one. You can use it. And this is gonna be another big one. So you will have a chat application, so you can join any room and you can chat with people in there. There's a database here, so all your chat will be saved on the database, which is MongoDB. You can join a different server. Something wrong with this one. All right. So we are going to build this one with React and Node.js on together. Yes, it's kind of like a transition step for your final project. Okay, so you will have time to review your React knowledge. So you can go to this one and chat with people. That's it. That's the some major. Okay. Oh, we actually have one more project, which is an API web server, API server. So there's no web for that. So I cannot show you here, but they are on API. There's no picture and stuff, just text. It's kind of boring to some of you, but it's fun for me. And let's see what's next. And actually today's lab is we're gonna build a to-do app with using Node.js. It's very old and it's very boring, but it's golden. And this time we're gonna build it a software that it can run outside of our web browser, because in JavaScript we already done this within our browser, right? This time we run it outside the browser. We run it on the terminal. I think it's more fun, and the reason why we want you to do this app is that it actually covers a lot of things, a lot of concepts, and the flow is good as well. It's good for beginners, so I think it's good for us for today the class. And do you have any questions? If not, we're gonna take a short break. Oh, it's so fast. Let's go back at 12 o'clock. You have example to do. Yeah, we do. Actually, I don't deploy it, because if we deploy it, it cannot run on terminal, right? So instead of that, we're gonna have to do here. This is what we're gonna build today, right? 7.2 on the learning portal. So you can do not app list, and then you see a list of to-dos. And so you can add and change the status of the to-do if you want. You can add it, you can delete it, or you can even filter them. Cool. Right. So you can go ahead and take a look at the lab, and we will start the lab at maybe 12. So it's right now it's 10:45. So it's gonna be 1 and 15 minutes. Do you want to start at 12 or 12:30? 11. No, that's too much. I think Khan, no, you need to go to this website to read a little bit about it, right? You need to read more on what's different between front end and back end. What I'm telling you is not enough. Really, it's not really enough compared to what you can read on the internet as well. Right? Go and Google and search and see how other people explain it, so that you can see, you can have like many different perspectives about something. I think it's very good for developer. All right, and you can actually know a little bit about Flow and TypeScript here, as well as what's different between in browser and server-side JavaScript. It's almost sometime. I don't know. Okay, 12:30. So on the back end side, it's all about logical thinking. It's not about the state management. For example, in React, it's very hard to debug. But in the back end side, it's easier to debug, but it's harder to build stuff yourself, right? Oh, actually, there's a new fact here. Microsoft bought NPM 3 weeks ago. So basically, in the future, that will affect a lot affect the JavaScript future a lot, because like 99% the JavaScript packages are published on NPM website. Okay, and when Microsoft bought it, they're gonna use it a lot in their desktop application. And if you master JavaScript, you can have a lot of job opportunity with Windows environment, right? You can build apps for them. So I think it's good. To me, it's good for you. And Microsoft actually said that they still have NPM as a open source project. So we can worry less about it being private. And yeah, So that's pretty much it. Hope you like it. And take your time to do some Google and about these stuff here. Okay, bye bye. We will go back at 12:30 sharp. Okay, no delay. Can you share the link to the slides? Yeah, of course, viewers. All right, do you see this one? Slide codeschool.vn and then slash /stw_7_2. You see this from the slides. Alright, here you go on the chat. Cool. I know this one is kind of different. It's a different technology compared to the PowerPoint. This one we just use it this model in this month. It basically is a combination of Markdown and React. It's a combination of Markdown and React. So it's, if you want to do it, it's quite fast. It's faster than using a PowerPoint or beautiful AI. I will show you the code to that. Okay, here's how it looks. It's very weird. Okay, let's take a stop here. Okay, do you have any questions before we take a break? No. So I know a bit block on my screen. Maybe control. You can zoom out. Can you zoom it out? Like control minus or command minus, something like that. Yeah. Just zoom out. Yeah, this tool is not perfect because it's still in development beta mode. I think it's combination between React and Markdown. Alright, it works. Yeah, just zoom out. Okay, cool. Okay, let's take a break. So if you have any question, go to the GitHub link. That not really the GitHub link, the GitHub sheet link I opened before, and then type your question there. Okay. I only see like a couple of people ask question on them. Okay, bye bye. I'm gonna have breakfast now.